Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Kakadash. Your brother Elder Bishop Ayathan back at you with another video. And I'm watching this video here put up by Apostle Tahar, a testimony. I had a massive stroke. I'm not sure what the original channel is, but it's one of the New Jersey camps. One of the brothers had a stroke. I believe his name is Awar, if I'm not mistaken. But you can watch the video here. You go to Apostle Tahar's channel. He's playing it on there. And then you can also get the brother's his actual channel that made the testimony. And I just want to say a couple minutes on it. I only watched 6 minutes of this video. And when the brother was explaining what happened, the first thing in my mind that came to my mind was blood pressure, and he confirmed in the video, that his blood pressure was very high. Now, they call blood pressure the silent killer because you can have high blood pressure, you can have low blood pressure. Either or, right, side of the spectrum, whether it's high or low, you may not necessarily have symptoms, and so they call it the silent killer. And many men pass from heart attacks and strokes. In my family in particular, a lot of the men on my father's side suffered from that. And strangely enough, where a lot of men catch, where a lot of men get heart attacks and strokes, really strokes, is on the toilet, taking a number 2. Right, which shows you that when you take a number 2, right, which shows you why you need to go to bed on an empty stomach, and why you're not really meant to be functioning all day with food in your stomach, because when your stomach digests, it draws a lot of blood. A lot of blood goes towards your digestion. That's why you feel tired after you eat, many a times, especially a heavy meal, because there's a lot of blood that goes towards digestion. And so, strangely enough, a lot of men catch strokes while they're taking the number 2, straining and I guess pushing, and I had people in my family that went out like that. My father had strokes, and the stuff that Esau puts in the food induces the strokes, and all the electromagnetic fields were surrounded in the foods and the chemtrails, and the stress especially. All that stuff induces strokes, especially in men. Our bodies hold a lot of stress. And there's a lot of stress areas, where we hold a lot of stress. Your chest, your groin area for men, and your hips and your groin, you own a lot of, you hold a lot of stress there. When you're tense, you might clench your whole groin area. They'll say you clench your ass cheeks, but you're really clenching your whole groin area. That whole area becomes tight from stress. So a lot of men have really tight hips and not tight hip flexors. Women hold stress in other areas, but men, we hold a lot of stress the back area. And it gets to a point to where your heart or something in your body just seizes up from all that stress. Excuse me. Slack. Yeah, I was driving, man. I had to pull over to do this video because I was like, man, I gotta say before it leaves me. But yeah. So as men, a good thing to do is to stretch and to do sports, hit the bag, exercise. Through those vehicles, you can let go a lot of that stress. And there's other ways to let go of it that only a woman can help with, if you know what I mean. If you don't believe me, watch Enter the Dragon when they, when they received their women's, and there was, they was walking on their back and all that, doing all that lovely stuff to release tension, So, but anyway, get back to the topic. Make sure I'm recording this. Hold on, make sure I'm recording. Give me 1 second. Okay. Where did I leave off? Yeah, so a huge thing is a diet, right? Diet, the brother mentioned a lot of salt, which probably means he wasn't cooking at home, maybe eating a lot of food outdoors. And I catch myself doing that, man. I'd be busy as hell. And so I'll buy some stuff outdoors, but that is the worst, really not a good thing to habit to form, you know? So cook your own food. If you got a woman, have her cook homemade meals, you know? So you control what's in the food. There's a huge difference between home cook and the stuff you buy outside. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, so the brother mentioned it's very important to pay attention to the diet, which we've been always telling brothers to pay attention to the diet. Apostle Tahar is big on checking up blood pressure. You know, whenever he goes to his place to visit him or to see him, he always puts out a blood pressure machine. He might check our blood pressure, make sure everybody's good. Because it is a silent killer. You could be suffering from high or low blood pressure. You could be 1 point away from death and you don't even know it. You know, and a lot of men get strokes in their sleep. I have an uncle just recently. I was in the hospital less than 2 weeks ago. Uncle had a stroke in his sleep, and he was suffering from a lot of stress. You know, and he wasn't moving around for 2 days. He was just. They thought he was done. They basically called us to let us know he was about to croak, and if we have any last words to go see him. Now I went there with my mom. I was the first person he saw when I walked in the room. He hasn't seen me in like 20 years or something like that. I haven't seen him. I was the first person he saw because I got in there before my mom. His eyes lit up. He started talking. He started moving around. The nurse was like, WTF? Like, what the hell? He said, yo, he hasn't been doing any of this shit. Like, what the hell do y'all do? So I just walked in. He said, you know, my name in a Haitian language. And he started moving my hand, and I gripped his hand. He gave me a tight grip. I said, yo, this man, he ain't ready to go nowhere, you know? So after that incident, they switched his regimen from, he's about to croak to we're going to get him prepared to go home. And he went home like 2 days later after that, or the next day, you know? So I say that to say, you know, the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai controls everything. The brother, he quoted a scripture. You know, Deuteronomy, the Most High kills, makes alive. Most High heals, he makes sick. Everything's up to the Most High. And a lot of it is mind over matter, man, you know. Like the brother said, he has a very strong spirit. The brothers commented like, yo, your spirit is strong. He gave up to the ghost 3 times, you know. The brother got a strong spirit, and the Most High put him here for a reason. So he's like, nah, you ain't going nowhere, you know. And for whatever reason, you know, the Most High put the brother through that. And you can look at it however many ways you want to look at it. But the scripture that popped in my mind was an incident in John, the 9th chapter. And it says, as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was blind? He was born blind. So disciples understood. They were very spiritual, way more spiritual than anybody today. You know, except for the elect, because we understand what they understood, that when you come back and you're born again, you know, reincarnated, mean you're born as a baby, you're going to pay for the sins that you committed in your past life. So some babies are born jacked up, or some people get jacked up later in life, you know. And so they asked, like, yo, who sinned, you know, him or his parents? Which really, if it was his parents that sinned, it might have been his, like, great-grandfather or something like that, because you don't pay for your parents' sin, you know, but you may be your parents' parents, you know, you may be your great-grandfather coming back or something like that, you know. But Yahushua said, nah, this is what Yahushua said. He said, Yahushua answered, verse 3, neither had this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of the Most High Yahweh should be made manifest in men. And so when I watched 6 minutes of this is the first scripture that came through my mind, because this is a blazing ass testimony, you know, and the stuff he went through. And check out how the brothers speak. I understood every single word he's saying. You know, the brothers walking again. He said he's getting dressed. Man, some people after a stroke, the Most High don't let them come back to that. They jack for life. They're in a wheelchair. Half of their body is gone. There's a famous rapper called what the hell's his name? The Conway or the Butch, something like. Y'all know who I'm talking about, man. Half of his face is pretty much dead, and he rhymes, but only half of his lips move because the other side is paralyzed. But that's what happens when you get a stroke, because you got two sides to your brain, the left side and the right side, and they control each side of your body, the left hemisphere, the right hemisphere. Many times when you catch a stroke or aneurysm, the blood doesn't go to one side of your brain, and so that side dies. So that whatever functions that side of the brain was functioning, it dies. It becomes numb or is dead. Now the body is very strong. The brain is very strong. The Most High is fucking resilient as hell. He made these bodies, and these are throwaway bodies, not even the bodies we're gonna get. But these bodies in itself, Esau is still trying to understand them. You know, and if he was able to completely understand his body, all of Israel would be done by now that he could identify. He's got something called ethnic weapons, which are geared directly towards Jake. That's why there's certain diseases that majority of Jake suffer, like diabetes, you know, and other diseases, because they'll target Jake and their foods and different things, you know, according to the way Jake's genetic makeup is, you know. We the ones that got the melanin, so they could prescribe drugs or put drugs in our food that target melanocytes, which is what Jake have in their bodies, because that's what produce melanin, you know, more so than any other so-called ethnic group. So if they was able to understand how our bodies work, man, they would have got a lot farther than they have right now as far as getting rid of Jake with medicines and darts, you know, and jump shots and all that. But anyway, so all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, you know? And, you know, there's a lot more I could say going into diet and all that, but, you know, you brothers, you already pretty much know. And, you know, I think the Spirit had me say everything that I wanted to say. But mainly, man, this is a hell of a wonderful testimony showing the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And goes to show you, the Most High could take you, man. You just got to do what you got to do, what you're supposed to be doing. The Most High could just seize you up, seize your heart just like that, man. It ain't nothing. At a snap of a finger, you know, your shit will seize up. And every minute, every day, I feel like my shit is about to seize up. I feel something somewhere. I don't know what the hell it is. I pray to the Most High, like, yo, like some Red Fox shit, you know? He always used to act like he had a heart attack, you know? Then he finally had one. Everybody thought he was acting, you know, but it was a real deal. So they didn't act as fast as they should have, because they thought he was just acting again, you know? But I be feeling different shit in my body. It's very, brothers and sisters too, you got to understand your body, man. Be your own physician, because doctors will fuck you up as well, because they treat everybody, they have templates. Or the person said they feeling this, so they go in a book, and they do have the same protocol for everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's how a lot of people, a lot of deaths happen in the hospital, you know? A lot of deaths happen in the hospital, you know, because the same protocol do not apply to everybody. Everybody's body is unique. So you got to understand and learn your body. You know, when you have certain pains, like me in my chest, I've come to realize that the pains I've been feeling, I'm pretty sure it's not my heart. Because I think I'll be in a way much more pain if what I felt was my heart. But I think it's just muscle spasm in my chest, you know, especially after a workout. From a couple days after, I had these little pains, little spasms. So maybe I need to take, that's an indication I need to take more magnesium and potassium, things like that. So, you know, you got to understand your body. You got to learn how your own particular body works. You know, even foods, different brothers react differently to different foods. So you got to know what you need to stay away from. You know what I'm saying? So there's a science behind it, bros, you know? And this is part of the transformation that you take when you come in as truth, letting go the old man. That includes the whatever diet you was on, whatever bullshit you used to eat, you know? And hey, man, we under stress, we catch hell. So, you know, brothers got their different vices and shit. But overall, just when you got to be balanced, but be more so on the alkaline side. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not gonna be perfectly, you be as balanced as you can, but you're gonna lean to one side or the other. So lean to the righteous side, lean to the alkaline side, You know, lean to the righteous side, whether it's food, whether it's what you're doing your every day, you know, doing your lessons, doing everything, man, because the Most High can zap you just like that. Remember, Satan is a roaring lion going up and down. It says that was in First Peter's, you know. Then also in Job, the Most High asked Job, what you doing? He said, yo, I'm just roaming around. You seeing who I could fuck up today. And you know, we on a target map because we the men of the Lord. So Satan especially wants, man, his hands are rubbing together when it comes to us, you know. So this brother, the Most High is like, nah, not today, Satan. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. Lord's with us was edifying. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakodash. Shalom.